Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb's also an author. Barb's a pilot as well, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday. If you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or go ahead and search for it on podcast platforms like iHeartRadio, Spotify, etc. Every week, Your Real Estate Voice covers great information about the housing market and one of most people's largest assets, that's their home. So, Barb, what are we covering today?
Well, the first topic is about prices and what's going on with the Colorado housing market in general. I'm watching a whole bunch of different podcasts, YouTube, articles on the Wall Street Journal, all these different people looking at stats. And the obvious question is, are the prices dropping here in Colorado? So we're going to kind of deep dive into that and discuss what's going on with pricing, what's going on with market values, and how you can really succeed in any market. And then the next topic I'd like to cover is basically a question that I get oftentimes when I receive offers for my clients. A lot of them want to know, if they've gotten an offer, is that the best we can do? Right. Now, if you have multiple offers, that's great. You should be doing the happy dance. But in the case of, if you just have one offer, the fear is, well, what if they back out? What if this? What if that? So the question really is, can I still show my house? Can I still look at offers after I accept an offer? So we're going to deep dive into that and what that means for a home seller. And I'll tell you a couple stories that might make it make sense a little bit more. And then the third topic is, how do you choose the best realtor to sell your house? Now, everybody tends to pick an agent that maybe sold them the house. There's overall not a whole lot of set criteria for most home sellers into making a decision as to who's the one that's going to handle one of their largest assets. So we've got some tools that we can let our listeners download from my website that can help you make some good decisions about who is the best fit for you to handle one of your largest assets. And then the last question I get a lot is about really selling your home to an investor. Is that the right choice or the wrong choice for you? Everybody has different motivations about when they want to sell, why they want to sell, how they want to sell. So we're going to talk about some reasons why people would sell to an investor and maybe take a little bit less than what the full open market would command, and the whole strategy behind that. And as always, I love talking about my hot new listings. Richard?
So, Barb, with interest rates being pretty much the same in the last few months and more homes on the market, how does a home seller get the most money when they sell a house in today's real estate market?
Well, it starts really with pricing it correctly. And you have to have somebody that really understands that market. What does your competition look like? Who is the most likely buyer for that home? And so what's going on in the market right now is that just all of a sudden this year, we've had another big surge in the number of available homes for sale. And at the same time, the number of buyers going under contract for homes is about the same as what it was for the past 2 years. So 1 year ago, number of available homes popped up 25%. Here we are a year later, number of available homes popped up another 25%, yet the sales are the same. So it's just a supply and demand equation where there's more supply and yet the same demand. Really, the result is most likely going to be a downward pressure on pricing. And as a result, even some of the experts out there in the industry say that home prices could decline slightly, but I don't think it's going to be a big crash. I don't think the buyers sitting on the sideline should hold their breath and wait for market prices to drop like an elevator, because I just don't see that happening. When I looked at the statistics about the number of people moving into the state as compared to the number of people moving out of the state, that was really interesting. I looked at it nationwide. It's a really cool statistical thing that's put up by Realtor.com. And basically, it showed us that places like Colorado, Nevada, New Mexico, some of the New England states are pretty even, the number of people moving in, moving out. The people that are gaining population are Florida, North and South Carolina, Tennessee, Arizona, Idaho, even Maine. So we're seeing some improvements in those locations as far as people moving to those states. Colorado has been relatively even. And I think a lot, even though it's a beautiful place to live, I would think there'd be a lot more people that want to move here, but the prices are pretty high. That's one issue. So right now we're showing that there's about a 4-month supply of homes, meaning if we looked at the homes on the market right now, which are over 4,000 homes in the Pikes Peak region, and I think Denver obviously has more, and you just stopped at that point, didn't add any more, it would take 4 months to sell them all. So that's still good. That's not quite a buyer's market, but it's getting there. But the thing that I like to look at is predictive data. So I have this software that I use that basically that compares the number of pending sales to the prices of those pending sales as compared to what the median price is for homes on the market right now. And the big surprise to me when I looked at that data was that basically it's still kind of a slight seller's advantage. The prices have dropped about $7,000 on average in the Pikes Peak region since July. The median price is $555. However, the median price of the homes getting contracts is $523. So that's about 6% less than similar homes on the market. So still, I think people are just reaching too far in their price. And what I'm finding in my own business is that typically the days on market are going longer. There are few showings right now, fewer showings than I've seen in quite a long time. The number of home sellers that are dropping their price continues to rise. Just a few months ago, it was in the 40s, maybe 43%. Now it's at 54% of the people that go on the market look backwards at similar sales and said, my house is worth X. And if they didn't price it very realistically, guess what? More than half of them are lowering their price. So if you do catch a buyer, don't let them get away. It's one of those kind of markets where, you can't sit around and just expect a bidding war to be around the corner, because it's not that kind of market right now. And many times the buyers are actually coming in and either asking for a reduced price or the seller to pay their loan closing costs, which could cost quite a bit of money. I was just talking to one of my colleagues yesterday, and the agents at his company are working in Southern Florida, basically. And they're going out and actually getting the seller. They're finding people that have been on the market for a long time and coming in with full price offers, but asking the seller to offer up as much as 6% in concessions. And they're getting acceptances on that. They're getting sellers to agree to it. So that's the kind of market we're in, I think, right now. If you see that more than half the home sellers are lowering their price, it's either lower your price or look at a concession, one or the other. And the reason why they're getting concessions is, especially with a VA loan, the VA loan includes in their closing costs things like the VA funding fee, which is a form of mortgage insurance, costs anywhere from 2.4 to 3.5% of the loan amount. And they're also asking for extra closing costs to buy down their interest rate. So they're able to get their buyers into these houses at a mortgage rate in the upper fours and low fives, which is amazing. But at the end of the day, putting your home on the market, the way you win is you have to be the best home at the best price. That's the way you get the most money. I don't care what kind of market it is. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the most beautiful home either. I just sold one in Briargate just a month ago where they got 20,000 over asking price. The home definitely needed a lot of work, but they priced it right to command top dollar, and it worked out very well. So the rates, they're kind of about the same as they were a week ago. Conventional 6.58%, and the VA and FHA loans are in the low sixes right now. So overall, the market is kind of teetering on a buyer's market, but not quite there just yet. So what that means is buyers have more choices. They're asking for concessions, and you'll actually get the most attention for your home if you actually go onto the market at the right price. That's the way you catch a good buyer. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about whether or not Colorado home prices are dropping, and I think they are just slightly. And next up, we'll talk about a few tips to get you the most money when you sell. Richard?
Now, Barb, we're discussing whether or not Colorado home prices are dropping. What can home sellers do in this competitive market to get their home sold in a reasonable time and for the most money?
Well, the days of bidding wars are pretty much over unless you're underpriced. So expect buyers to be picky, really nitpicky, surprisingly nitpicky. Like, oh, the carpet needed to be replaced in the basement. It's like, really? It's maybe $1,000 if you can't. I think part of the problem, Richard, is some of the agents are not really trained on how to handle objections, right? There's no training out there for the industry. So if they're out there with a buyer and the buyer says, oh, I love the house, but the carpet in the basement needs to be replaced, we're talking a few $1,000s. They should be able to overcome that objection. We know how to do it, but they don't. So they just move on and go show them another house. It's crazy. So I think at the end of the day, if you're going to be premium priced at the top of the price point, everything has to be perfect. And if not, then everything has to be priced just right. And we know how to do that. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900. We have over 28,244 buyers just on our little website. Typically, we can match about 800 buyers to your home, and we will definitely market to those buyers to try to get them interested in taking a look at your home. So give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com.
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. When we come back, we'll be discussing, can a seller show their house after they accepted an offer? Barb will give us the answer and explain it. Stay tuned.